You are listening to Comedy Club for Kids presents Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense. Hello and welcome to Radio Nonsense, the official Comedy Club for Kids podcast that is suitable for all ages from 2 and everything in between. I'm Tiernan and I am very excited to tell you that this week's show is the very first podcast ever to be released in full Technicolor. Yes, that is right. I'm not sure if any of you listeners know this, but way back in the, 1500s, 1600s, whenever it was, when podcasts started, they were just sound. And that was all. In fact, even before that, they were on a sort of wax cylinder that you had to balance on a donkey, and the donkey had to move in a certain way for you to be able to hear how it sounded. And then they developed, and eventually they got to the point where they were a sound you could download onto your phone. I think that was about the 1800s, sort of Victorian times. Anyway, you just got to hear them with your ears or your elbows or your bums, wherever it is that you do listening from. And then, of course, as you probably know, all the technology got a lot better, and podcasts were then in black and white, so you could see them, but they all look really old, unless you're a dog, and then they look brilliant, which is why loads of dogs started listening to podcasts, obviously. Do you remember that? Jeremy Woof's The Dog Detective. That was a pretty popular one. Is That My Tail? That was another one. I like that one. All the Places I've Slobbered. That was a big hit. And then, of course, 456 recipes for your own poop, which was really disgusting, but very informative, and a lot of dogs loved it. Anyway, podcast technology, I'm really excited to say, has now made another huge step. Yeah, that's right. Forget your tablets or your phones or your giant robots that fly around space battling monsters or your AI packets of crisps. This week, I am proud to announce that Radio Nonsense is in full colour. There. How do you like that, right? Impressive, huh? It all feels so bright, right? I mean, it's quite strange. Obviously, I bet you thought Stinky Hippos looked different to how they actually do. But in full colour, you can see they're quite like normal hippos, but these stink lines they have are super green. Linda, what do you think of the new full colour Radio Nonsense, Linda? Any bits you think we should repaint, Linda? Well, I have to say, I quite like it. I also had no idea that the walls in Comedy Club for Kids HQ were... is that puce? Is it puce? It's like a horrible browny purpley colour. I really hate puce. It's not great. Who painted them puce? It wasn't me. I don't like puce. It looks like sick. Also, why is my desk puce? And my arms. And my shoes. And the fridge. In fact, almost everything in here is puce. I thought that I would get this programme and suddenly there'd be zillions of exciting bright colours everywhere. I know, let me look at this fruit bowl full of exciting fruits like kiwis, apples, pineapples and potatoes painted yellow to look like lemons. And, what? They're all puce. Okay, how about the mailbag? The emails and reviews you send are usually brilliantly colourful. Here we go. This will be colourful. Look, this review is from I Love Cats on Apple Podcasts, who says, "Hey, it's Linda. I'm here to tell you I have been on holiday and I'm now the CEO of Cats. I'm sure you're aware, theatres, that you now legally need to own a cat or else. Dun dun dun. I'm here to inform you that I have now teleported with 1 million cats to Comedy Club for Kids HQ. Well, hang on, but we're not a theatre. We don't need all these... Oh. Linda, look, if that is you, I didn't want 1 million cats. I just got rid of those cats a few weeks ago. Oh, hang on, though. At least cats are normally different colours, right? So these should be... What? How are all these cats puce as well? This isn't what I got that special Technicolor podcast programme for. Look, listeners, if you'd like to review this show, you can do that on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music too, or loads of other places as well, though please don't send me any more cats, whatever colour they are. Or, obviously, you can send in a question that you need to have answered, or a joke that you've made up, or anything else at all, by asking your nearest harumphing egg faces Sorry, I mean grown-ups, to help you email me at podcast@comedyclub4kids.co.uk. You can also send a message for any of the episodes on the Spotify Q&A too. Please also check out our comedyclubforkids.co.uk website to find out where we're doing live shows near you, because we've got absolutely loads going on all over the summer. And please tell any ridiculous people you know to check out this podcast, unless, of course, they are allergic to puce, although hopefully I will get that sorted ASAP, because it's really disgusting. Oh, yeah, here's the colour chart on the programme. Yeah, green. That'd be nice. How is it still puce? Oh, listeners, while I sort this out, you listen to this most important bit, which is somehow also puce. What?
La couleur d'une puce, or the colour of a flea.
I am very excited that here on Radio Nonsense, I am joined by Ryan Denham, aka Ryan, who's the arch nemesis of the colour cyan, aka Ryham of the Order of People Always Covered in Jam, or as all of our listeners who are old office telephones know you, But of course, Ryan, you are very well known for being the world's only hairdresser for tarantulas, for your environmentally friendly invention of sand parks to stop people using water parks, and most famously for the time you carried a camel on your back across the desert to give it a well-deserved break. Ryan, it's so nice having you on the show. How are you doing?
I am thrilled to be here. Yeah, this is great. Yeah, very busy. As you said, I've got lots of things on the go at the moment. I feel like one of my tarantulas, where I'm just sort of like limbs in every direction, doing lots of things. Stirring pots over here.
Yes,
all that sort of stuff. But yeah, thrilled.
I was going to say, because it is. I mean, I have to say your tarantula hairdressing work is remarkable, and I think.
Thank you.
As someone, I have to say, I'm a bit scared of spiders. I don't particularly, as far as I'm concerned, too many legs. It's a bit selfish. Give some to a worm. However, you giving these tarantulas haircuts is made them a lot less scary for me. I like looking at a tarantula with a well-coiffed, a well-coiffed sort of do or a lovely perm. It's great.
Well, yeah, I mean that's the whole intention of the project, really, is to make tarantulas seem less scary by making them softer, gentler. Make it so that you kind of want to reach out and just sort of stroke their hair rather than retreat across the room. And yeah, they get a bad rap. People think tarantulas, mean, scary. Lovely. They're the nicest creatures in the world, especially really sensitive to scalp massage as well.
Really?
Which in my industry, yeah, like as soon as you do sort of touch a tarantula on the scalp, legs will just sort of spread. It'll flatten down to the ground, and you can just get to work chopping away at their hair. It's super easy.
I mean, I have to ask, they've got very small scalps. That's got to be quite hard to, would you just sort of massage with just like, you have to do one finger, or do you have to use like a cotton bud or something? How does that work?
So you kind of get sort of two chopsticks,
right?
And you just sort of like poke at either side of the head at the same time. And it's a gentle squeeze, and they do sort of squish a bit like a grape, like an old grape, and then relax. And you just kind of do that over and over, and they love it. That
is brilliant. Do you practice on old grapes? That is, it was such a very specific reference. Is that a good way to practice? If I wanted to give a tarantula a head massage, which I have to say, I'm not sure I do, but if I wanted to, should I go around practicing on old grapes?
Grapes are the best tool I've found. You can try raisins, but they're a bit too squishy and dry. You can go up to a plum, but then you're getting into like beyond tarantula territory of head size, and it gets a bit too intense. Bit too scary. Lots of hair there. So grapes are just sort of like the sweet spot of tarantula head size, in my opinion.
How are supermarkets? If I go into the local supermarket and I just start practicing on some grapes, are they going to be okay with that?
It depends on the supermarket.
Right. Okay.
Like your sort of your high street chains of supermarket, very against it, but you do get niche ones that pop up now and again in the neighborhood that are very happy to, because at the end of the day, you're softening the grape, you're ripening the grape so that the next person who does come along to purchase it has a lovely, juicy, massaged grape ready to go.
Well, also, I don't want to sort of frighten any listeners that may be hearing this that don't like tarantulas, but I remember a story many, many, many years ago about someone who bought a bunch of bananas and there happened to be a tarantula in it. And I think that if we're like practicing on grapes to massage tarantulas' heads, then those places that sell fruit, it works for them too, because if there are tarantulas in their bananas, then they're going to be really relaxed tarantulas. I'm sure that works like that.
I mean, that sounds great. That doesn't sound like a scary story. That's like when you get a toy in a box of cereal. That's like 2 for 1 right there.
Well,
If anything, it's more like, why are there all these bananas on my tarantula?
Wow. Yes, do you know what? I never thought of it like that.
Perspective.
You've bought bananas and you've got a free pet, and actually that's actually, sorry, should I call them pet? That's very rude of me, isn't it? I guess
They prefer sort of companion, mate for life, gentle acquaintance, or nemesis. There's sort of no in between being a kind of friend and being an arch nemesis. And there's no neutral territory in the middle.
I'm worried I've already stepped into nemesis ground with my stereotypical comments thinking they're pets. Am I in trouble? Or?
Well, they do hold grudges, but again, scalp massage, if you get your chopsticks out, they'll always put a smile on their face. Easiest way to get back in their good books.
Okay. I just, they've got 8 legs. If they're going to hold a grudge, they can hold it with 8 legs.
They can hold 8 grudges.
Really hold it. Yeah, that's a lot of holding, and I don't want to be on the wrong side of a tarantula with a. I suppose. I'm going to try not to worry about that. I am a bit worried about it. I'm going to try not to worry.
It'll
about
be
it.
okay.
I'm a bit worried about it.
If you ever get in trouble, just sort of drop my name in.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's
you'll be
good.
fine.
Phew. Thank you. I appreciate that.
And that goes for anyone listening as well. See a spider, just sort of say, "Hey, I'm a friend of Ryan," and they'll go, "Oh, cool, no worries," and let themselves out the window.
Is that what you've just said? See a spider? Is that all? Is it only tarantulas or is it all spiders? Like, if we see any spider, we can mention your name.
Any spider, yeah. I do. Okay. I specialize in tarantulas, but I don't discriminate. Right, okay. I'm open to all 8-legged friends.
That's nice. Wow. And does that expand to octopies, octopuses,
octopi? That's a trickier one, purely because I struggle to hold my breath.
Sure.
So I can do a quick trim, and then that's about it. So I'm a bit one note when it comes to octopus haircuts. And also,
they also don't have a lot of hair. Yeah,
it's very fine. Yeah. To them, it's everything. It's but it's just sort of a layer of fuzz more than it is substantial hair.
Do you think that's because they're underwater the whole time? Like, do you think if they were on land, it would all sort of frizz up and they'd have quite a large amount of hair? But because it's always wet, it's like slick back.
Yeah, I think it's like if they had as much access to sunlight as surface creatures, then it would be like a fresh lawn of hair on their head. It would grow, it would flourish, it would be long and luscious. Every octopus you meet would be called Fabio. It would be amazing.
Wow. You've really highlighted there's so many creatures out there that I just think would look better with a haircut. Snakes would look great with a real sort of what do you call it? Like a barnet, like a sort of 70s style barnet. That would be
long,
great.
Tall beehive, just on this really long body. Yeah. I know people
like
who do snake toupees.
Yeah. Oh wow! Okay.
Snake wigs is an emerging industry. If you check on like Etsy and all these shops, it's thriving. It's really popping off.
That's so nice to know. And so it's what the animal kingdom needs right now, I think, and insect kingdom and fish kingdom. Yeah.
If every animal had an incredible haircut, no animal would ever be an endangered species again. That's my stance.
Wow. Cuts
it's all branding.
Less cut. There's a clever phrase there. I can't think of what it would be. Cuts mean less cuts to the rainforest. No, it doesn't quite work, does it? But there's something there.
Chop barnets, not habitats. There we go.
Whoa, there you go. That's lovely.
Chop barnets, not habitats.
That's the campaign right there, and I hope everyone listening will back it and will think about. I don't think actually listeners at home should go and try and give animals haircuts. There's part of me that feels like unless you're
leave trained, it to the professionals.
Yes, leave it to the professionals. I feel like but hey, go round and massage some grapes. Why not?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, train yourself up. The earlier that you start learning, the more your career will flourish later on.
Yes, exactly. Well, but you said like a tarantula, you've been very busy. All your legs are stretched. All your legs. I assume you've only got 2, unless you've got extra ones.
two at the moment. The surgery was a success. It took away the other 2.
Oh, right. Okay.
I was just sort of walking around on my back like a table, and it was really uncomfortable. So
Yes.
just regular person shape now.
Yes, it's awkward when the extra two grow there, isn't it? Because then
Yeah,
you just have
in
to
the middle
walk
of your
around like a
back.
T shape and just sort of. Yeah.
Very
it looks-
useful for limbo.
Yes, very useful, and also that you can sort of have a lie down wherever you go. You know, because two of your legs don't, but the rest of you gets to lie down.
Yeah, they do tire quite quickly. But yeah, you make the best of it. But yeah, for now, just sort of upright, two-legged creature. But who knows what the future holds?
Sure. You never know. You can always get 2 legs put back on. I think they can do that now, can't they?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, more, fewer.
Yeah.
Add some wheels on the end. Anything is possible in the world of modern medicine.
I would. Yeah, I would like some wheels. I think. I don't know actually. Would you be allowed to go on the pavement if you had wheels on your legs, or is it strictly only in the road? Because that feels a bit dangerous. But if I could do like kids on
cycle
scooters,
lanes, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Especially on hills. Hills would get really fun on the way down. So exhausting on the way up. You need ski lifts on every hill just to like drag you up.
And also, you say fun on the way down, but some hills quite scary on the way down on wheels, I think.
Yeah, I suppose. I'm a thrill seeker. I can't help it.
Yeah, I was going to say you're more daring than me.
Down it.
You know, and I do appreciate that. I'm not a big fan of just falling down a hill. Really, it's not on my list of favourite things.
Fair.
Crisps.
It's like anything. It just takes practice. The more you fall, the more you get used to it. The more you don't fall.
Sure. Yeah. It's always because when people say things are going downhill, they never mean it's going well. Even though downhill is easier to walk, definitely. And probably to go on wheels, even if it's falling. I know to chase a big ball of cheese. It's easier to do that downhill.
Yeah, very much. Slide construction.
Yes,
much easier.
Much easier. You don't
things
get many
going
uphill
downhill in
slides.
slides. Is a compliment.
Yes, they really don't do uphill slides, do they? And I sometimes think that's what's missing from hill. Like I'd much prefer to slide up a hill than have to walk up it.
Yeah. I think it would be like the beginning of a roller coaster where you're just sort of gently rising to the top, but then you just get off. And you just get off and continue your day.
See, there's someone who's not a thrill seeker like me. That would be the best. That would be the best roller coaster I could go on because it's just the nice, easy bit, and then I leave.
Yeah, you just get a lovely view of the sky as you go up the hill, and then you go over the crest at the top of the hill, and you just continue with your life.
Yeah. That sounds great.
Maybe there's a gap in the market for roller coasters that don't go down.
I agree because I think like for example, I don't know, you probably like these, but in theme parks they sometimes have those like lifts or things that plummet. They plummet like loads of floors down, and it's meant to be fun because it's terrifying. But I just like it when a lift goes down by one floor or a couple of floors, and then you get out and
sort
then
of
you
a
do
gentle
what you need to on
hum
that floor.
rather than a terrifying drop.
And I would go to a theme park with lifts in it, just normal lifts in it that worked.
If you were in like a skyscraper and you were on the top floor and you were in a rush, maybe the bathroom is on the bottom floor, you would really want one of those. You would want to press the button in the elevator and it just plummet, but then safely land. Urgency, you've got to adapt to the urgency. Maybe there needs to be like a dial in every lift to adjust the speed.
But then you've got there's problems with this though. One of the problems is you might get in the lift and other people might get in the lift with you, and then they might not want to emergency plummet, or they might want to and you don't. Like how do you get around that situation?
That's true. Yeah, if I get in and like my grandma Linda's there, she's probably not going to want to crank it up to 10. I'd say rock paper scissors in that scenario.
Yeah. I mean, there's also a thing of like, if you fart in the lift, but you don't want anyone to know you farted, but you fart and then you hit the emergency plummet, everyone's going to know it was you, and you need to get out.
And they'll get a big intake of fart because they'll all gasp. They'll be like, and taking more fart than is normal, but it would clear the air quicker because everyone would breathe it faster. So
That's very smart, actually. Yeah. So it could be quite. Yeah, it could be quite good. Yeah, I don't know. I'm quite a scaredy cat when it comes to these sorts of events.
To breathing in farts.
Breathing in farts. Actually, I know breathing in farts is not fine. I was going to say breathing in farts is fine. It is not fine. It's never acceptable. It's particularly when I don't like it. And I should have said that when American listeners, when we said lifts, we meant elevators. But now I'm going to say escalators. What are they called in America? Escalators. Are they called escalators?
I think so. Uppy steps.
Yeah, movie robot steps.
Yeah.
When my fear is always that I'd be going up one of those and the person like in front of me would fart, and then as you'd go up the escalator, you'd have to go up into their fart.
And their bum would be sort of level to your face. You've left a few steps between you because you're polite.
Yeah.
Which means you are at bum level. So it's the cloud of fart. Yeah, dispersing around your face.
Big worry.
That's why I always crouch on escalators.
Right.
I'm always right down below. So if the person in front does fart, passes over my head like a cool breeze into the person behind me.
That's very clever. Wow, Ryan,
always
that's
pretending
very
I'm
good
tying
advice.
up my shoelaces.
That's very good advice, which you should do on an uppy stairs anyway, because otherwise
100%.
they get caught in the stairs and then you have to live on the stairs. I think that's what happens.
Yeah, you never want to end up under an escalator by getting sort of sucked through the cracks with your shoelace.
Is that
Dark world down there.
Are there lots of people that live down there? They've just never been able to get out because of their shoelaces.
Whole societies. Yeah.
Wow. And you think the way out would be to get your shoelace trapped in the escalator again and come back round the other way. Does that not work?
Well, that's the thing. The shoelace continues on the way around, but it unravels from the shoe. So that's what they're known as the laceless people, the people that live under the escalators, because all their shoelaces are just sort of twirling above them whilst they live in the dark with shoes that don't quite stay on their feet as well.
This is what a sad time for them. This is right.
Oh, no,
with your...
they're very cheerful.
Oh, are they? Okay.
They make the best of it. Yeah.
Okay, because I was going to suggest a campaign alongside your Chop Barnets Not Habitats. There must be some way we could get laces to the laceless people and help them be laced once again. But I don't know how you'd get them there, because if you drop them through the escalator, then it's not going to... That's not going to Yeah, this is hard, actually, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Something to ponder. Maybe just sending loose laces, leaving loose laces on escalators, and eventually some might make their way down.
Yeah, that's true. Or maybe just like spaghetti, and then the escalator will think that's not laces. It will let it through, but of course they could use it as laces.
Yeah, genius.
Yeah,
as long as it's cooked spaghetti, so it's nice and flexible.
Yes. The good point. Yes, good.
Otherwise, it'll just be raining pasta on them, and they're cheerful, but nobody likes pasta rain, do they? Especially
not hard pasta. That would
hard
be so
shards
irritating.
Of spaghetti.
Yeah. Just in your eyes. That'd be awful.
But free food, they could just stand there with open bowls.
Yes. Yeah, that's true.
There's always an upside.
Yeah.
There's always an upside.
Yeah. Especially on an escalator. Yes, absolutely.
Nothing but upsides on
Nothing but upsides unless you're going down. Anyway, it's very complicated. Well, but look, Ryan, I'm so glad you're here. You've already heard expertise, that our listeners aren't going to get from anywhere else. And I do have a question that someone's asked. I think you are the man that can answer this.
Okay.
But before I ask you, I've got some admin questions. How do you feel about admin questions?
Big fan of admin.
Are you?
I spend my whole weekends at filing cabinets.
Wow.
Yeah. Stationery shops. I volunteer.
Wow.
I just love admin.
Can I ask, that's a shop that sells stationery, not a shop that stays very still and stationary?
Both. They're usually in the same place.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's good. I just don't like it when they run it when you're about to go in a shop and then it moves.
Yeah, like running shops. Exhausting.
Yeah.
All you want is a pair of shoes, and you've got to sprint to get there. Exhausting.
That's terrible. And it would have been easier if you'd got the shoes to sprint with, but now, it's the wrong way
running
round.
barefoot towards the shoes. Yeah.
Terrible.
Car shops are even worse.
Really bad, really bad.
Yeah.
Very, very tricky to catch one of those, actually. Unless you're already in a car, but then why would you be going to the shop? It's a problem people don't think about. Really is, really is.
That's what we're doing.
I'm pleased you're a fan of admin. Do you because I always think it's called the min in it always makes it sound like it's the least possible admin. I wonder if are you an ad max person? Would you want more of it?
Oh, absolutely. Ad maximum.
Ad maximum. Right.
Yeah.
Good.
Ad infinity.
Wow.
That's what I'm into.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's a lot
endless.
Endless. That's a lot of admin. That is a lot of admin. That's
yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, I feel now. I almost worry this is going to be a letdown because I've only got two questions. I only got two admin questions, and that's nowhere near infinity. I would say it's quite far away from infinity, as numbers go.
But it's too closer than no questions.
Yes. I like you're such a positive person, right? Such a delight to have someone with such positivity on this show. Thank you. Well, listen, I've got two questions. The first one I think is we'll see how we go. The second one I think is harder, but okay.
Okay.
Question one: what is this?
How did you get that?
It just came in the post.
That's the button, right?
Oh, is that why it says do not press on it?
Well, it welcomes pressing, but just that's the button to the doorbell of the entire planet.
Oh.
Why do you have that?
I don't know, it just came in the post. I opened it up. I have to say I have pressed it quite a few times, especially because
that
says
was
do
what
not
that
press.
noise was?
Yes.
That ringing in my ears. Oh, that makes so much sense.
What? Right. What was confusing? I thought someone was just ringing my doorbell at the same time I was pressing it.
No,
which
it's
I thought
every
was...
doorbell.
Oh dear.
Yeah, our planet probably has lots and lots of packages just sort of floating in orbit that were unable to be delivered.
Oh, that's very sad to think. Well, also worse, some people probably think I've pranked them. You know, that somebody's rang on their doorbell and run away. And
yeah.
I definitely didn't.
Knock gingering the entire planet.
That's a terrible thing to have done. I didn't mean to. It just the thing is, if you get sent a button, you have to press it.
I mean, yeah, 100%. But it's why was it sent to you is the curious thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Are you the keeper of the button now?
Oh, I guess I am.
Are you the planet's doorman?
Mate, do I have to wear one of those doorman outfits? Do I need a hat and a little buttoned up jacket?
I mean, you don't need it, but it would help.
Yeah. And do I have to hold open doors for other people?
It's more you sort of hold open gaps in the atmosphere for people arriving at the planet to pass through. So, like, sort of part the clouds.
Okay.
You know, if it's raining, try and just do your best to shift that to the side.
This is, I mean, you know, I don't want to sound ungrateful, because obviously it's very nice. Someone sent me this thinking I was the person to do the job, but it sounds like a lot of work, and I'm quite busy.
That's fair. I mean, you could always send it on. Just post it to somebody else.
Yes, and is it... Yeah, maybe I will do that.
Maybe
I suppose the issue is that
in the newspaper.
Their doorbell will ring, and then they'll get a doorbell, and that's going to be very confusing. Maybe I need to put a note in it.
Or perhaps upgrade it to a sort of intercom system. So rather than having to answer the door, you just sort of buzz them in, like you live in a flat. Like the whole world is a flat instead of a house.
Oh, I like that. I'd like that, because I quite like that. Some people have those very fancy doorbells which got little cameras in and stuff. Like the ring ones or whatever. And maybe I could upgrade it to that. And then also, you'd see everyone's face as they approached. And you can sometimes be like, no, not you. You look miserable. And then not let them in.
You have a record of anyone who was trying to visit the planet. You could pretend you're not in when you are.
Yes. Yes, I think I'd do that.
Maybe that's a good system. Maybe this is why it was sent to you. Maybe this is your destiny.
Yeah, maybe
upgrade
because
the planet's doorbell.
Previous door people have done their job properly, and they need someone like me who's going to be too lazy to actually just be like, I'm not in, go away all the time, and they need that.
Maybe that's what our planet needs.
That's a
just
nice
for a
idea.
while. Just let the aliens only come if they have like a really good reason. Like if they're just sort of handing out leaflets, they can just leave those. That's fine. But packages, popping around for dinner, just visiting, all perfectly acceptable. But with a video doorbell on the whole planet, you can be able to tell.
Yes, and I would definitely put one of those like big stickers on it that says "No space junk."
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's fair enough. No space junk, no space phone book. We don't need those anymore.
No, especially as most of the universe doesn't even use phones. They haven't used phones.
It's just a massive book for no reason.
It's
Unless you've got
so
anything
big.
on a really high shelf you've been struggling to reach.
I was going to say that is when it's very useful. Actually, is just being able to stand on it. But then it's so big that you have to get a ladder to stand on top of the. But it's a bit like going to a car shop. It almost defeats the point of having it in the first place. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe donate it to a library.
That's a nice idea. Or
really tall library.
turn it into a library. Yeah, maybe I should cut holes in it and put other books inside.
Oh, or like turn it into like a pop-up book, a pop-up phone book. That would be lovely.
That's nice. This is actually. Do you know what? You've changed my mind on this, Ryan. I have to say, I did just think, oh, it's a funny button. I've been pressing it. I've now got a whole new career ahead of me, and probably some libraries to build, which. I hope it can sort of wait till next Thursday. I've got quite a lot on till next Thursday, so I hope it can wait till then. But yeah,
I'm sure it'll be fine. Yeah, just take the batteries out until then.
Yes,
and then catch up when you need to.
Perfect. I'll leave a note about where the safe space is to deliver.
Just say leave it with a neighbour. Leave it with Mars. Just put a note on the door that says that.
Or by the bins, which I think is the moon, isn't it?
Yeah, it's one giant bin. Yeah,
the moon is one giant bin. I'm sure that's how it works. I'm sure when you go to the moon, you leave your bin stuff there and you come home.
I mean, yeah, like they left the flag there.
Yeah,
that's just littering, really. It
is littering.
That's interterrestrial littering.
That's all the moon has.
It's the worst form of littering.
It's just a rock.
It's the hardest to clean up. Yeah.
Rude. Poor moon.
Dusty too.
Yeah.
Needs a good hoover the moon.
Someone should hoover the moon. Let's give the moon a break, everyone. Give it a nice hoover, bit of a scrub. I think someone should draw a large smiley face on it, but that's just me.
What, your face?
No, not my face. Just like it could be my face. I think like an emoji. I was thinking like a large emoji face. Possibly change the emoji every so often. So when everyone's like, "Oh, it's a full moon," you can look up and it's like, laugh cry emoji in the sky,
or a face looking really full, like it's had too much dinner.
Yes,
just saw big puffy cheeks on the moon. It's like, that's a full moon.
That's nice. That's what would it have eaten? Cheese? Because that's confusing.
Just pure cheese. That's why it's full, because it's already full of so much cheese. And then a half moon, you put like a Phantom of the Opera mask on half of it.
Oh, that's good. That's very good. We're really not using the moon as a entertainment resource enough. We're just
it's underused.
It's really underused.
I've got a third campaign coming up, I think. I can feel it. Make the moon entertaining again.
Yes, I like it. Make the moon shine. There's going to be a good There's a catchier phrase. A catchier phraseer somewhere in there, and we'll find it. Well, thank you, Ryan. You've solved my problem anyway. I'm going to put this the world's doorbell somewhere safe for now. The second question I have to ask you, I think this is harder. This is just me. I think this is much harder, and I hope you take your time over this. If you need to ask any further questions, you go for it. I wouldn't want to be asked this. I'll be honest. But see how you go.
Now I'm tense. Okay.
Yes, well, you should be. It's pretty tricky. Ryan, would you rather be a human-sized living jelly baby or a human-sized living gingerbread man?
If I was a human-sized jelly baby, I could still swim. Whereas a human-sized gingerbread man, we've all dunked gingerbread biscuits in our drinks. Yeah. You only get a few seconds before they start to sort of disintegrate.
Yeah.
And I like to swim. And also, gingerbread people struggle to sunbathe. they just end up overcooking themselves.
Sure.
Although jelly people tend to melt, they become just jelly
Yeah.
puddles.
Yeah, and I would say,
Tricky one.
I don't know how you are when you eat a jelly baby or a gingerbread man, but when I eat a jelly baby, I'd probably bite its head off first.
100%. Yeah.
And that would be my worry, that if you're a walking jelly baby, a bird or just a larger person or something's going to spot you and think, I'm going to eat that head.
Yeah, you'd need like a big sort of umbrella hat to shield you from above. And also I'm a big fan of jelly babies as well, so I would struggle to like it would be like at first biting your fingernails, and then it would be like, actually, tastes quite good.
Just have a little nibble.
These jelly fingernails, not bad. Is that pinky raspberry? Ooh, lovely. And I might not stop. I might end up just being my own head, trying to eat the rest of me.
That's and then, but because it's your head, someone will have already eaten that anyway. So
exactly, then my head is unprotected.
Yeah. I mean, you also have to think that the other issue you see that I think is the hard bit, because if you're a living jelly baby, then you're very wobbly. So picking things up or holding things or doing anything's can be hard because you'll be wobbling. But if you're
Sticky
a gingerbread
well.
man, then when you pick stuff up, your arms just snap or your legs just snap. And
yeah, it's very stiff.
So,
Hard to dance when you're a gingerbread man.
Yeah. So would you prefer your arms and legs to snap off or to be too wobbly to hold anything?
I'd probably go wobbly. But it's interesting. Gingerbread man, jelly baby.
Yes.
I don't really want to be a baby again.
That's true.
Especially a man-sized baby made of jelly. That's a very vulnerable position to be in.
That's interesting. And also because actually in the question, I have said human-sized living jelly baby. If you're a human-sized gingerbread man, you might be the size of an adult. But if you're a human-sized jelly baby, you might be the size of a baby.
Yeah. And you need someone to look after you. Someone who doesn't eat jelly babies.
Where are their jelly parents?
It's a good question. It's a terrifying thing if you really think about a jelly baby.
Because all the jelly grown-ups just said, I can't be bothered to look after this baby. Put it in a packet and let people eat their heads. That's awful.
Yeah, or you get if you think about the things that are made of jelly, you've got jelly babies, jelly beans, which I've planted them, nothing grows.
No.
Useless.
Terrible.
Yeah, there's a lot of downsides to being jelly snakes. Yeah, adorable and delicious.
Yes. Yes.
But again, it's a very vulnerable position to be in. Being a jelly anything, I think, is quite a downside, but especially being a baby. And having no adult supervision.
Yeah, that's it is very worrying, and just the fact all they do is hang out with other babies. Who's in charge? It's
a whole society of jelly babies.
it's
with one jelly baby leader who's slightly older.
I think our listeners, if they ever think their grown-ups are rubbish, like they're rubbish, so they don't do this, so I can't go to bed. Think about what it'd be like to be a jelly baby. You'd have a grown-up that just stick you in a packet with other babies, and then that's it. That's rubbish.
And that's it until potentially you're just eaten.
Yeah. What a horrible life.
Yeah, it's hard. So I'm going to go gingerbread man, I think.
Yeah. I mean, and do you know what?
There are downsides, but I can live with it.
You'd probably get a lovely bow tie. Yeah, like it'd be icing.
Very true. Lovely. Maybe a little top hat. On festive occasions.
Yeah, exactly.
Gingerbread house to live in. It's a lot more. It's an adult life being a gingerbread man. You've got the gingerbread house, gingerbread mortgage, gingerbread bills, and all that sort of stuff to deal with. But you can get a lot more done. Yeah.
Good choice. Thank you for going through all the kind of the facts, the evidence. I appreciate that. I appreciate you taking the question very seriously, as it needed to be. Yes. Brilliant. Well, thank you, Ryan. And I should say, I hope you don't have to become a gingerbread man or a giant jelly baby at any point in your life. But should you do, now you know kind of what's ahead. So
yeah, it's nice to plan for the future, even if you don't know exactly what's going to happen.
Absolutely, I agree. Right, well, look, listen, this is the big one. This is the very important question that we've had in. I'm going to read this out to you. So, this has come from. It says, I'm going to read the whole thing. Hi, Tiernan. Hi there. It's nice to respond, isn't it? My name is, and they've said, so it's pronounced Moira. My name is Moira, pronounced Moira. And I have a question for you for the podcast. How do you grow potatoes if potatoes don't have seeds? Now, that's the question. I'm just going to carry on. I live in Cork in Ireland, and I love to listen to the show at bedtime with my dad. Dad currently typing this email. Many thanks, Máire the Great. Wow. So, firstly, her dad is currently, while I'm reading this, her dad is currently typing the email. He's still going.
Legend says he's still typing to this day.
Wow.
His fingers are covered in plasters.
He just can't stop typing the email. Is it a curse? Do you think it's a curse?
I think it's a curse until we sufficiently answer this question.
Wow. Moira,
we have to save Moira's dad. We have to save Moira's dad.
And she's also Máire the Great, so I don't know. I don't know if, it's lovely that someone with such legendary status we can talk to you, but it makes me wonder if out there are some Moiras that are Máire the bit rubbish.
Máire the okay.
Máire the fine, yeah.
Máire the fine for 5 minutes and then you get a bit tired of her.
Yes. But
I think I've met that one, actually.
Have you? Right, sure.
Yeah,
sure.
She's hard work. But Máire the Great sounds lovely. She sounds wonderful.
Really good. I'm really pleased that's the Máire that's got in touch with us, and I'm, I hope you're happy to answer her question. As she said. Yeah.
It's actually it's something I've been waiting for a good platform to talk about.
Right. That's good.
Because this is I don't want to say the word conspiracy.
Oh. I mean, you just said it. You just said it just then.
I didn't want to do that. Oh no.
Yeah, sorry.
Now they're going to come for me. It's fine. We're fine.
Okay.
The doors are locked.
Right.
So, potatoes. It's a whole thing. Potatoes are not potatoes. They're not grown from the ground. People think they come out of the ground. That's just where we find them. That they don't begin as seeds and flourish into potatoes that we go off and make mash and cottage pie and chips. They're actually they kind of come from an ancient society at the found near the center of the earth, not at the center of the earth, but near the center of the earth, which I believe the Danish word for them is spud, which is spelled and pronounced in English kind of like spud, and that's where the name comes from. And essentially, what they do is they just sort of naturally produce these little things that we know as potatoes and shove them upwards into the ground, and over time they eventually make their way to the surface and we eat them.
Right, this is huge. This is big. I had no idea.
Yeah.
This is the real origin of potatoes.
Nobody knew. Nobody's been asking the questions that Máire the Great's been asking.
Moira, you've uncovered. Well, I say Moira, Ryan. In answering the question, you've uncovered something very big about potatoes. Hang on. I have to ask. So you say the spud, they just naturally produce these potatoes. How do they produce these potatoes? Does it fall out of their knees? I always think potatoes look quite like knees, but maybe I'm wrong.
That's true. They do, and often they have sort of faces in them. If you look really close, they have rough face shapes. But it's more. They don't call it this, but it's what we would refer to as a sneeze.
Right.
They just sort of exhale with a big head shake and kind of make a big like rah! Noise, and they just sort of come out. Usually caught in tissues, occasionally the inside of the elbow or the back of somebody's head if you're in a queue, and then they just sort of
the big question: do the spud have particularly good-sized noses? Because my worry, if I was to sneeze out a potato, that to me sounds like a very painful experience.
Yes, 100%. They have proportionate sized heads.
Okay.
Proportionate sized noses, but they have massive heads.
Right.
sort of that looked pretty potato-like, to be honest, but like giant potatoes. I believe there was this whole truth almost came out in the 90s and the 80s when there were some toys that came out that looked a lot like a spood.
Right, right.
I'm sure you're familiar with the Mr. and the Mrs. Spood heads, as they were called in. Yeah.
Yes, I do remember those toys. The ones where their ears would just fall off and
noses would come off.
And
Yeah. And as you remember from the toy, all the pieces are kept inside because there's considerable space inside, like inside a spood where they keep the potatoes or where they grow the potatoes organically.
And do the spoods also have sort of ears and noses that fall off like that?
I've heard rumblings. I've seen some old like sort of cave paintings. I've never actually met one, to be honest. This is all from sort of ancient scrolls, carvings on the inside of potatoes. If you sort of cut them down the middle, occasionally you'll find a message.
Wow. And
there's a lot to be uncovered.
Put the potatoes in the soil, sort of from underneath the ground, and then the potatoes work their way to us, where we dig them up. We should be saying something like "Thank you, Spoods," but we don't, obviously, and they just do that. Do they want to get rid of the potatoes, or are they actively helping us get the potatoes? Why do they do that?
Well, to be honest, I think they're a little bit grossed out. I think they would be a bit grossed out to find out that we eat them, to be honest.
Sure.
Because for them, it's sort of like, like if you scratch your nose and you get a little bit of bogey on it or something like that, the thing you should do is wipe it in a tissue, throw the tissue. But it's been known to happen that people will occasionally just sort of wipe their finger on a wall. Something like leaving chewing gum underneath a table. It's sort of like that is what they're doing. They're just sort of getting rid of it because they think they're a bit gross.
Sure, I see. So, does it work the other way round? All those kind of people that are putting their, like, I don't know, sticking their bogies under their bed or wiping them elsewhere. Does that work its way down to the spoods? Are we any part of their life?
I mean, I hope so. I hope they're getting something back. That would be wonderful. I'm sure. Yeah, they probably maybe need a lot of a steady supply of bogies down near the center of the earth, just to sort of keep the lava away. Bogies, as we all know, are fireproof, so it's a good way of keeping lava away during particularly hot days. So I would hope so. Yeah. So if you were to occasionally bury a bogey in the garden, I'm sure you would receive some potatoes in response.
Wow, that's a nice thing to do. I hope listeners out there will hear this and then think, I'm full of bogies. I'm going to go and just leave these in the garden. And
yeah, as long as it's your garden.
Oh, can you not leave your bogies in someone else's?
You can't. I don't think you can do it in like national parks because they're sort of owned by the government. So only government bogies are allowed there.
Oh dear. Okay. Sure. There's not like a penalty for doing that, is there? Or
only if you're caught.
Okay. Phew. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Good. I suppose the other question I have is, these spoods are under the ground. So are the laceless people. Is there an issue there? Are they at different stages of under the ground, or do they know each other?
There is evidence to suggest that they do communicate. Sort of through the laceless are obviously above the spood, so they sort of rhythmically stomp on the ground, and then the spood sort of, they don't entirely understand it. For them, it's sort of like a noisy neighbor upstairs, so they sort of grab their brooms and hit the roof. So they're aware of each other, but they don't get on very well, and it's pure misunderstanding. They have a lot in common.
They've got a lot in common, and you sort of think if only I'm sure they may be laceless people, but they must have bogies that they could probably send down. I'm pretty sure the spoods could make a potato lace is a thing, because if not, I think they probably could be.
I think they should be, because I mean, what is a lace but a really long chip?
Yes, I've often said that. Yeah, I've often said exactly that. Yeah, absolutely. I've often ruined shoes with ketchup, but one day it will happen where a lace will just be made of potato, and I feel very happy about it.
And you never know until you try. You can't shut the door to these kind of possibilities that your shoelaces may be potato.
Well, if you think about it, if you had potato lace, right? Say if you had the bottom of the shoe could be 2 potato waffles, and then you could have like half a spud on either end for the front and the back of the shoe, maybe some new potatoes along the side, and then a potato lace, and you've got a whole shoe there, and it's all potato.
Yeah, potato smiley belt buckle.
Yeah,
you could accessorize with. Yeah. We really underuse the potato by just eating it, to be honest.
Absolutely.
There are so many things we could do.
Yes. Yes.
If you, I mean, obviously all the listeners will know this, but if you overcook mash too much, harder than concrete.
Wow. Yeah, that's true.
We could be creating huge skyscrapers, spud scrapers, if you will, of potato, but we're just not doing it.
Wow. What a beautiful dream. What a beautiful vision. And I hope that's true. I hope after listening to this, I'm sure a lot of construction experts and world-class builders listen to this, and I'm pretty sure that they will be inspired to build the next great building out of potato.
I mean, it's a natural instinct everybody has. Like, I'm sure you've had a plate with mashed potato on it, and you sort of build a little tower or scrape it together into a mountain.
Yes,
that natural instinct comes from the small part of us that is a spood.
That's amazing. Well, so you might remember this. The listeners will be too young, but when I was littler than I am now, potato waffles, which I mentioned earlier, their advert used to say they were waffly versatile, and I always wondered what they meant by that, because mainly you just sort of ate them as potato waffles, but I think they could potentially be snowshoes for they're probably a little fencing mask. They'd probably work quite well as that, and I think perhaps as some sort of scaffolding or the sides of a building, it would probably work quite well.
A giant fence. You could cut a potato waffle into sections, into tall sections, and just make ladders.
See, that's great.
Indoor climbing waffle centers. There's loads of options.
Yeah, edible noughts and crosses. There's
perfect.
There's a lot, isn't there? And we are really underusing potatoes. You're right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Spoods, I guess. I sort of feel
absolutely
quite like I'm very ungrateful to the Spoods. For all that
just plant a bogey to say thank you next time you're in the garden.
That's another campaign. That's your next campaign, I think, right there.
Hashtag plant a bogey.
Yeah. That's beautiful. Well, thank you. And
that's why plants are green.
Yes, of course. It's amazing how many things make sense when you know the real story behind it. And I should say, I mean, I'm hoping, I can't guarantee this because we're not there right now, but I'm hoping Moira's dad has been able to stop typing.
Yeah, we can only dream of one day being free of typing.
We can hope. Well, that's and if that's the case, Ryan, you've already in this you've saved. You've saved animals that are going to be extinct. You've saved the spoods and potato buildings. There was something else as well. I can't remember what it was. But what I'm saying is ultimately a very beneficial conversation we've had with you today. And I'm very grateful that you could give up your time in between all that tarantula hairdressing that you've been doing.
Oh, I've been doing it this whole time. I can talk on what I work. I mean, hairdressers. We all like a good natter as we work. And this is just what I do as I cut tarantulas' hair.
Wow, how many have you got there with you right now?
Well, there was 3, but then one of them is just thousands of spiders just poured out of it. So going to be a busy afternoon. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. God, that's funny. I just thought you had really hairy little hands.
No, they are swarming.
No, so they
but
are.
It's fine. They're just little. They'll learn.
Good. Yeah, I'm sure that will be fine. Well, good luck with your brand new tarantula family, I guess.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Hopefully we'll have you back on soon. Thanks very much, Ryan, and good luck with all of it.
Cheers. Thank you very much.
Dictionary of Color describes puce as being a slightly purplish red.
thanks so much to Ryan Denham for taking time out of cutting Tarantula's hair to answer Máire the Great's brilliant question. Máire, I do hope you liked your answer, but if not, why not write any complaints that you have onto a potato and then plant it in the ground, and then it will grow other potatoes and someone will eat them all and I'll never have to see it. Thanks. Ryan writes on absolutely bazillions of cartoons, including My Little Pony, Peppa Pig, Aikido, Ultimate Arcade Warriors, and so many more, so do look out for his name next time you're watching your favourite show. And of course, if you have a question that you need to have answered, then please do get your nearest harumphing egg faces, grown-ups, to help you email me at podcast@comedyclub4kids.co.uk. Or you can send me a message on the Spotify Q&A, or give the show a review in places where you can do that too. Also, if your grown-ups would like to support this show, they can sign you up to the advert-free Linda edition, which has no other fun extras at all. Nothing. I can't be bothered. That's not true. I could be bothered, but it takes a lot of time. So actually, it's just to support this podcast, really, and you get no adverts and you get it a day earlier too. They can do that on Apple Podcasts or patreon.com/Comedy Club for Kids, and then they can also add it to Spotify too if they do it there. Also, please check out comedyclubforkids.co.uk for our live shows. We've got loads on. And do tell any absolutely nonsense people you know to check out Radio Nonsense as well. And I can't believe that whole bit was also coloured puce. I just don't understand. This programme, right, I just see it here, it's called Super Techni Podcast Rainbow Colours Magic Times Woohoo. It says it will add over 12 zillion colours to your podcast. But it hasn't at all. I just don't get it. What's this, a pop-up? It says, your free trial of Super Techni Podcast Rainbow Colours Magic Times Woohoo has now ended. We hope you enjoyed living in a world of puce. If you'd like to purchase the full app, please pay 400,000 secret pirate gems. You'll now return to the default setting of complete darkness. What? What does that mean? Hello? Hello? Oh, well, this is total rubbish. I almost prefer seeing things just in puce. Almost. Well, I have no idea where you are, listeners, but hopefully I'll have this sorted by next week. Ow! Bye! You have been listening to Comedy Club for Kids Presents. Radio Nonsense! Radio Nonsense! Radio Nonsense! Radio Nonsense! Radio Nonsense! It's the end.